In the major cities of developing countries, slums are home to the poorest members of the population. Often, to get out, inhabitants end up dealing drugs. Lucrative and a quick way to make money, dealing is at the core of most violence. Difficult for the police to enforce the law, they have to work twice as hard. In Rio de Janeiro, the military police has created special units to work directly in the slums. These units patrol the slums on foot, day and night. In Cape Town, South Africa, the police has created special operations units. They patrol the city by car and perform spot searches. Two different patrolling methods, each reflecting society in their respective country. Immersion with these officers in the heart of the least traveled neighborhoods and populations. Rio de Janeiro, the second largest city in Brazil. The city is famous for its Copacabana and Ipanema beaches, Sugarloaf Mountain and Christ the Redeemer at the summit of Mount Corcovado. But hiding behind this picture-perfect postcard image is a stark reality. Here, 20% of the population live in slums or favelas, located high above the city, clinging onto the sides of steep hills. They're not easy to access, covered in hundreds of back streets you can only reach on foot. The favelas are lawless zones where drug dealers reign supreme. Since 2008, the state has decided to come down hard on criminals and drive down crime. It sent in a special unit, the BOP. Its mission, reinstate police in all areas. The unit has to enter the favelas in armored vehicles and have helicopter backup. It's a war mission that ends with the replanting of the Brazilian flag in the reconquered zones. There are 1,000 favelas in the state of Rio, and just 180 of them are pacified. The first to be pacified was Santa Marta, close to downtown. Home to 10,000 residents who now live in relative tranquility. There is still a plague of traffickers, but the police and the UPP, the peacemaking police units, are now present. The commander of the unit is this woman, Tatiana Lima, 32. Today, she's at the military police HQ for a special ceremony.
Being in the military police, keeping the peace and keeping the community safe, even if we have to put our own lives in danger, is why people want to be officers.
Every month, deserving officers are rewarded by their superiors. Today, Tatiana is going to present one of the most coveted awards to a member of her team.
Corporal Rock is part of the UPP. He stood out in many operations by arresting well-known criminals. Through perseverance and hard work, he's conducted many police searches with conclusive results. Thanks to his work, we've made some great arrests. And that's why we're recognizing him today, for his devotion and courage.
Today, approximately 100 police officers out of the city's 40,000 will receive awards. But the celebrations are soon interrupted by a call.
We've just been informed that someone has been arrested. I'm going to call my supervisor to confirm, and then we'll head to the station.
Tatiana tells us she's going to the scene. She needs all the details about the operation.
Attention, attention. Monitoring Santa Marta. Units, please contact Lieutenant Tatiana. Contact the UPP commander.
The suspect is clearly a trafficker. He was arrested carrying a small quantity of drugs. On the road, everyone is on high alert. Here, officers are permanent targets simply because of their jobs. So Tatiana always keeps her gun ready to return fire.
It's important, essential really, that during an operation like this one, we have our weapons ready, because we might need to use them at any time. Anything could happen. We always have to be ready. For safety reasons, we need to be able to get our guns out quickly. Every time we get in the car. We tend to take off our holsters and carry our guns in our hands. That way we can react quickly if we are attacked. Whether someone shoots at us with a pistol, rifle, or any other firearm.
If the lieutenant is precautious, it's for a good reason. Last year, 2 patrol officers moving through a traffic jam with their siren on were suddenly set upon by a hostile vehicle. Windows up and guns in holsters, they couldn't do anything. Left for dead, they somehow miraculously survived the attack. Today, this is a case to learn from. Windows down, gun on your lap. Officers are better prepared to react instantly. The man suspected of trafficking has been brought to the civil police station. Here, in Brazil, tasks are shared. The military police intervenes and the civil police takes care of legal proceedings. Tatiana heads to the station to pick up the report. Like Rio, Cape Town is the country's second largest city. Cape Town is famous for the breathtaking views of the ocean from the summit of Table Mountain. Outdoor activities like surfing make Cape Town a popular tourist destination. The city, founded by the Dutch, is one of the richest on the African continent. And some areas, such as Camps Bay, are the most lusted after in the world. But hiding behind this rosy image are countless slums, known as townships. 80% of the city's 3.7 million inhabitants live in these slums. That's almost 3 times the amount in Rio. Crime is rife in the townships, and like in Rio, it's mostly linked to drugs. Here, criminals form gangs. There are close to 200. A staggering number, where rival gangs settling scores leads to endless bloodshed. Faced with a serious problem, Cape Town commissioned its own officers, the Metropolitan Police. Philippi Police Station in the heart of the township. 2 sergeants are leading today's operations, Francois and Brendan.
We'll most probably be doing some search warrants. If there is no search warrants, we will basically follow up on information that we have and that we receive from them and go and check out these places.
Today, there are several addresses to search. Their working method is to be as quick as possible so that the dealers can get away and to make sure they don't get set on by a township's community. They cannot give the criminals a chance. Francois and Brendan's unit comes up empty. But not at this third address. When the officers arrive, this woman seems very nervous.
They stole my money, my jewelers, everything, you know, every time when they come here. And they don't even bring a search warrant. Why they do that? No, but when they teach us about the police, they tell us to, we must not open for you guys without search warrant. Otherwise, I don't have anything. I didn't hide anything.
Ma'am, I would suggest at this point, that you'd rather be quiet.
Yes, I'm a Rasta. I did tell you last time. I don't hide that.
Come inside.
I'm a Rasta.
In South Africa, officers don't need a warrant if there are grounds.
Not performing. I'm not performing. That's my right.
And that's the case here. This man has previously been arrested for marijuana possession.
If you carry on like that, we're gonna arrest you. Ne?
For my right.
You are impeding in our duties. Don't interfere. Ne? My friend.
The atmosphere is tense. Francois and Brendan believe there are large quantities of cannabis hidden somewhere in the house. The officers hit the jackpot under the closet in the bedroom.
Azai. Okay.
Meneer Brikkie.
Meneer Brikkie. Nee, dit is deze voor de uitgedacht.
Lig, kom op, lig.
Nog, ik wil.
Alvast.
Bingo!
First, the officers find a cannabis stash that must weigh at least a kilo. But that's not all they find.
Ja!
Daga. Je tongen bij Daga.
Ja, meneer.
You're gonna have a free holiday. Mooi, voor je hond. Prachtig, hij is oprecht.
Oh,
Moet je
ja.
eten, zeg.
Breek die kas op in zijn poes. Ja, hij gaat fokken. Ja, de mensen hebben het te blij niet. Niet meer dagje. Nog, tot hem nog.
Tony, wacht. Hij kan
These newspaper wrapped packets are weighed and ready for sale. There's no doubt. These packets have been prepared for one thing. There's no way the Rasta can get out of this one.
You see, that stuff, they make loose. They make packets like this.
Yeah, and they sell it to the market.
And they sell it.
Hey, you never stop just nonsense from last.
Nee, ik ga alles aan jullie.
The Rasta dealer will be taken to the National Police Station. It's a few minutes' drive away, where he will be booked and taken into custody. Back in Rio, at the civil police station, like Brendan and the Rasta, Tatiana recognizes the man who's been arrested. But as they didn't find a high quantity of drugs, the civil police officer has decided to let him go.
He only had 4 packs on him and a little bit of money. But for us, that was sufficient grounds. We've been following this guy for a very long time. Also, when we went to arrest him, he took off. He ran away from the police.
Catching dealers with enough drugs on them is a big challenge for the police. A real game of cat and mouse. Not far from the station, another patrol unit spots a suspicious-looking crowd. We're in a square that backs onto the Macaque favela, renowned for drug dealing. The unit decides to approach and search the group, guns in hand, because the situation could quickly escalate. The group, in their 20s, are so focused on what they're doing that they don't even see the officers get out of the car.
Right, put everything on the table. Come on, take everything out. Hey, stop playing. Game's over. Now take your bag off. Okay, show me inside your bag.
The officers will check the group's ID cards and see whether any of them are carrying drugs. They show no signs of resistance or aggression towards the officers, and for a good reason. They're not carrying drugs. ID checks come up clean. They're let go. Heading now to the Santa Marta UPP station with Tatiana.
A partir do momento que a polícia entrou,
Once police enter a favela and maintain a presence there, crime stats fall considerably.
naquela região caíram muito, né? Então,
I think we can
eu
call
acho
the
que
UPP a success.
É projeto de sucesso.
The favelas are always above the city, pushed out of the center Today they have some of the best views of the Bay of Rio.
Hi. Everything okay? Welcome to the Santa Marta UPP. Hello.
Here, Tatiana commands about 100 officers, and respect is a military order. Tatiana's hardly stepped through the door when two plainclothes officers approach her. They are heavily armed and looking for a suspect.
A house has been broken into, and we're here because there's a suspect who may be involved. I'm armed like this 24/7. I always carry my weapon. It's protocol.
Following the civil police's request, Tatiana mobilizes her unit. Patrolling a favela, even a pacified one like Santa Marta, looks like anti-guerrilla urban warfare.
We follow a tight protocol when operating in favelas. But here the UPP is a little calmer. But we can never let our guard down. We always have to be vigilant when patrolling. You never know what might happen. Something could happen at any time.
Favelas are a labyrinth of back streets. Officers could be ambushed anywhere. Officers on patrol here are particularly exposed. The officers only have a house number to go on. Here, the streets have no names, so finding an address is a difficult task. The address is right, but the suspect isn't there.
The civil police came here with a warrant. But the suspect wasn't here. He's not here. Someone else lives at this address. It was a dead end.
The investigation will continue in the neighboring houses. It's tense. If the accused gets spooked, he could flee and shoot his way out. In Cape Town, the police don't regularly patrol the slums. Rather, they target suspected dealers. They're reported by informers, and the city has an official budget for paying them. These sources can be very useful. Informers don't think twice about turning coat or eliminating rival gangs for money. The officers quickly find clues suggesting it's a meth dealer's house. Methamphetamine is a potent synthetic drug that users smoke through a pipe, or loli.
Making it up.
It's empty, huh?
Yeah, yes, it's, yeah, that's the whole package. There you go, we were talking earlier about the lolly.
But unfortunately, there's no hard evidence. Without drugs on the premises, the suspect cannot be arrested. However, Brendan's suspicions about the house will soon be confirmed.
40 mil caliber. This is a 9mm, obviously shot from that side. Judging by the, this is basically what happens with when rival gangs come into the area. You end up with shootings like this. Even in the gate here, you can see they've obviously shot this place quite a few times. Here we go. There's another spot. And
these are very recent bullet holes, and there's many of them. These shots weren't fired to simply scare the dealer. They were meant to kill.
But he was shot 2 weeks ago. As you can see, I'm still recovering from his... As you can see, a 27 mark on the back here. And the stars is ranking up. Even on his shoulder here, you'll see the...
The man has 4 stars tattooed on his shoulders. He's a high-ranking member of the 27 gang. Proof that he's killed members of rival gangs.
Oh, I was sitting in the corner here, straight down by the shop there. So the guys, they found it, they came around there by the corner about by 12th Avenue. But it's a shop because they know I'm here and I stay here.
Cape Town is home to over 200 different gangs. They divide up patches of the city for dealing and often kill for control of other patches. Brandon knows them well and understands exactly what this is, a drugs den.
this here is a typical example of what the drug dens look like. This crown here, it's normally when they start getting initiated into the 26 gangs. The 26 gang is more about drugs and money and women. And as soon as he goes to prison, he'll be initiated straight away into the 26 gang. The levels in the gangs works very similar to military. Basically, you have your foot soldiers, then you have your lieutenants, your captains. In any of the gangs is a general, and they normally tattoo them with 5 stars just across the shoulders.
Yeah, he had 4 stars, so he was quite high up in the ranking system in the jail.
In Cape Town's townships, death by gunfire between rival gangs is a serious issue. Just 2 months ago, one township was the site of 32 murders in 1 month. Officers also have to seize guns. Today, their mission is to search the home of a person suspected of owning a gun. A neighbor called it in. Metropolitan police officers block the street. They head to the address, but there's no one home. To improve efficiency, the officers send in Donna, a firearms and explosives search dog master. Her dog is trained to sniff out any gunpowder odor.
Kom, ik zus te veel mensen.
Ja, maar wacht. Ik wacht op je.
Op zoek, op zoek. Op zoek, mensen, op zoek. Op zoek, waar zijn? Waar zijn mensen, waar zijn? Voor jij. Waar zijn? Waar zijn die? Zoek, zoek.
A few minutes later, the dog sits down. It's found something.
What a good girl! What a good girl! What a good girl!
Indeed, on the top shelf of the closet, there's a handgun. The dog wasn't wrong.
Ja, maar die eienaar van die Wendy gaan er nou al.
Donna immediately rewards the dog. Although it's a game for the dog, it trains for it every day.
It's a very good job, knows. Good job from my dog.
Sergeant Rodriguez doesn't collect the gun. It could be incriminating evidence in a murder case, and protocol dictates that he informs the forensic police.
because I don't want to touch it before the forensic guys come here. As soon as the forensics take it, then we'll know what type of firearm. It looks like a Beretta. They steal it, they rob police officers, security officers. That's basically how guns are obtained.
In fact, gangs aren't afraid of assaulting police officers to steal their guns. A few months ago, Ben Koopman, an officer, was killed right in front of his house. 2 armed men beat him to steal his gun, leaving a wife and 3 children without a husband or father. Police killings are even more common in Brazil than in Cape Town, which is why officers carry their guns ready to shoot. They still haven't found the suspect in the Santa Marta favela. Before heading back to the UPP station, Tatiana speaks to the residents. It's the best ways to strengthen ties and encourage trust.
Ah, you're doing a great job. It's much better now. It's better now, huh? There are way fewer criminals in the streets. Oh, that's great. Goodbye. Thank you. Thank you. We patrol the streets in the favela for 12 hours. We go down, we go up, we stop, we talk with residents. The hills are very steep. The streets we have to climb are grueling. So the officers who do these foot patrols must be in top physical shape. They have to be well trained.
Tatiana won't arrest anyone today, but her daily mission is to be present and discourage traffickers from moving back into the favela. Here, they're on the right track. But that's not the case in all the pacified favelas, like Providence, a little further north. This favela was pacified after Santa Marta. It's one of the most dangerous. Captain Orico is the UPP's second commander. He's only been in the position for a week. It's the first time he's worked in the favelas. It's time for the first patrol of the day, and Captain Orico isn't leaving anything to chance. A few years ago, he was almost killed.
I was shot with a 12 caliber gun. I took a bullet to the head. I was rescued. I lost some fragments, and now I have a titanium plate in my head. It's the second time I've been shot in service. Officers are prime targets for drug traffickers.
Not everyone is as lucky as Captain Orico. Since the beginning of the year in the state of Rio, over 15 officers have been killed by gunfire, most of them in the favelas. The favelas are color-coded, depending on how dangerous they are.
The red zone is an area where armed confrontation is highly likely. The yellow zone is considered intermediate risk. And the green zones are the safest. They are places where you are least likely to be attacked. This is a yellow zone, so there could be a confrontation at any time.
Captain Orico will patrol 2 sensitive areas, 2 places that were drug trafficking hubs before the favela was pacified. But pacification does not mean there's no crime.
Here, these are sensitive areas for officers and strategic areas for drug trafficking. So we have to gain ground to prevent the traffickers from coming back in and reclaiming the area or attempting to ambush the police. Narcotics are still sold here, but the territorial domination of traffickers is a thing of the past, as are the public show of arms that used to take place before peace was brought to the favela.
Unfortunately, The future is often mapped out for those living in townships and favelas the day they are born. Earning a quick buck dealing drugs is too easy. An inevitability that the Cape Town Metropolitan Police are trying to stamp out.
Any dogs loose? Bunda, any dogs loose?
You can go with that.
We meet up with Donna, who, like every morning, is training her dog. Working non-stop is the key to success. Only one of these tires is hiding a gun. The dog's mission is to find it under 30 seconds.
Yes, he found the firearm.
He smells the content of the firearm, the content was in the, which is in the bullet as well, and also if the firearm has been fired.
The Canine Police Unit has 4 firearm search dogs, 2 patrol dogs, and 8 drug search dogs. And teaching the youth of the townships about the unit is the mission of the day. Joanne, the Canine Unit Supervisor, is in charge. Today, she's heading to a police-run social center where the youth spend their weekend.
So we explain to them the pros and cons of substance abuse and also, like I say, to make them aware of Metropolis and what our functions also are. You are.
At the social center, Joanne gets changed into her uniform. The goal is to establish a positive link between the township's youth and the uniform.
So good afternoon. All, I'm Superintendent Felix from the Metropolis Canine Unit. This is our truck, the well-known Dacha, ecstasy, Mainrex, tick, heroin, and cocaine. So these are more in a pure form of substances. This is how we train them.
To end her speech on a high note, Joanne asks her man to demonstrate. Several different types of drugs are hidden, including the most common drug in the slums, crack.
They are trained in that 6 different types of substances. It's very interesting to see because tick, especially tick, we can't smell. And it's just interesting to see how they can identify it.
After the drugs search demonstration, the show continues. Now we're moving on to training and apprehension. It seems like the show was appreciated. Joanne will now continue her work with the youth from the slums.
Okay, any questions?
She quickly spots who fits the profile of a drug dealer. Essential information for when she comes across them again on patrol.
You will find the ones that's more quiet, they don't ask, but their body language will react to what you say. And then you will find those that's more talkative, but also they try to hide that they are actually a substance abuse.
For Joanne, prevention days like this are more important than they seem. She's creating a trusting relationship with the youth. Trust that will help her stop some of them from becoming interested in drugs. In Rio, it's also a relentless war against drugs. Here, tick isn't popular, but cocaine and heroin are. Captain Orico's patrol unit is heading to one of the most sensitive areas of the favela.
This is a strategic location. There are lots of alleyways. It's a drug trafficking hub. Clients come from downtown in the cable cars, and the traffickers sneak out of alleys higher up to make the deals when they spot the customers. This is the place. So we're here making our presence known to stop the trafficking.
Here, police presence is particularly risky. 4 days following this patrol, in the exact same location in the same conditions, a police officer will be killed for no apparent reason.
He was shot during a nighttime patrol in the area. According to witnesses, the trafficker that shot him was standing on these steps and fled after the shot was fired. The soldier, Daniel, was rushed to Sousa Aguiar Hospital but died on the way.
He received a military funeral. Daniel is the third police officer killed in a week in Rio. Since the beginning of the year, 18 officers have been killed. Police presence has doubled in the favelas. Captain Orico's patrol is heading to this street, the favela's most dangerous, just below these steps. Today, Providence's UPP progresses in fighting order. This is the place where the unit has come under the most fire. The zone is renowned as the traffickers' HQ. No one moves without the cover of another officers carrying weapons of war.
Come on, come on. All right, keep me covered. I'm going.
Here, gunfire always comes from a height. So between each step, the men kneel between cars to make sure no one can ambush them before they continue. The captain spots some suspicious movement from a window. A nervous man has suddenly backed away. No time to lose. They have to catch him. The bedroom the man was standing in is empty. It looks like he left in a hurry. Everything is still there. The only person left in the building is a 76-year-old woman.
Ma'am, is everything okay here?
Yes.
And nobody has asked you to hide anything for them?
No, not here, thank God. They respect us at least. If they're doing something, it's not here. Nothing happens here, and we don't want anything to do with that.
Do you know if there are any hiding places here? Have you seen anything like that?
No, I don't know.
Okay, so everything's good. So don't worry, all right? Thanks. Thank you.
The old lady couldn't help, but the officers will continue to search. The suspect might be hidden away somewhere and have drugs on him. Even if they don't find the men, the officers have proof that the suspect is a trafficker.
Yeah, look what we have. I found some empty plastic baggies stashed in a beam. Lots of them.
These little plastic packages are exactly what dealers use to sell individual doses of drugs. The search continues in the dealer's hideout. Upstairs, officers discovered that he fled through an exit door.
There. He must have got out that way.
In his hurry, he left behind his backpack. About to conduct another search, Brandon and Francois recognize a dealer who immediately runs away when he spots them. There's no doubt in their minds, he was in the middle of a deal. Despite the danger, the officers follow him. They are completely exposed and at the mercy of an attack. The dealer is hiding in an apartment at the top of these stairs. Brendan and Francois are going to get him. No way back. The officers are counting on the element of surprise to prevent any violence. Thankfully, the dealer doesn't put up a fight. By the time they make it to the bottom of the stairs, there's a crowd. They have to push through. They have to search the dealer in a van, away from the crowd and sheltered from any disturbances. The dealer doesn't have anything on him, but he has violent stomach pains and begins to vomit. He has clearly swallowed the methamphetamine he was trying to sell.
He'd either be very, very sick, or he could die. One of the two.
Even if it's dangerous, you have to run after your partner.
The officers are back on the road and heading towards the planned search. The dealer has been ratted out by a rival gang. Using the element of surprise is the only way they'll find drugs on the premises. The officers will search the house from top to bottom without any luck. At least their suspicions weren't wrong. The dealer has hidden all of his merchandise in his backpack. The officers eventually find it. This time, it's thick.
This is what we call tuk.
English name
Methamphetamine.
Okay.
It's a drug substance abuse. It's very addictive, highly addictive. So basically for the public it is very dangerous to use.
This is one deal that won't go down. The dealer and his buddy are arrested right away. In total, officers found 14 doses of crack, 25 individual packets, and a 1 kilogram vacuum-packed brick of marijuana. The dealer will face between 3 and 5 years jail time. In Rio, Captain Orico's patrol hasn't arrested any dealers today. The favelas have too many little back streets and dealers can run easily. So the captain is going to take care of one last mission.
We're going to find a woman now. We have a warrant for her arrest for ties to drug trafficking.
The captain makes sure to block off any exits so that the suspect has no chance of escaping.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon. Do you know Miss Elaine Lorenzo Dutra?
Yes, but she's gone. She left a while ago.
Are you sure? She's not here.
No, she's not here.
She's gone, huh?
The police took her away a long time ago.
We're going to need your full name, ma'am, so that we can report that we've been here and spoken with you.
Yes, no problem. I don't really understand why they came. I know that she's involved in a trial and that the judge had ordered her to stay here until the proceedings are over. But they just came here and took her.
That is Elaine Lourenço Dutra's mother. She explained to us that the civil police have already come with a court order and taken her daughter away. We all work for the government, but we work for distinct police forces. The civil police have already handled this case, so we'll just report that we've been here for the record. Family members often don't approve of their children's criminal behavior. In this case, it's her daughter. We can trust her. She understands that we're just doing our job.
Back at the UPP station, Captain Eurico understands that to earn the residents' trust, he has to be out in the favela every day.
Today, we patrolled the same route as yesterday, but we also went to Demente Street. We heard from some residents that drug deals were going down there. Sometimes you'll even see armed people in the middle of the street. So to patrol in this area, we have to be very vigilant.
It seems like Rio's favelas are changing. Little by little, the residents are disregarding the authority of drug traffickers and rediscovering their trust in the police. Philippi Station in the township of the same name. One of the largest townships in Cape Town, home to more than 200,000 people. Tonight, there's going to be a large-scale police operation. Last week in Delft, one of the area's ear, gang settling scores led to the death of 10 people. Tonight, the Cape Town police will be on a mission to find weapons, drugs, and dealers. Carl, Director of Special Ops, will lead the searches. A young woman is questioned at the first address. She's 25 and has 5 children.
Farikan bana kanto. Farikan bana kanto. May sigan, ayro po may laista eksilo. Farikan bana to now. Fat naurikan bana kanto.
The officers quickly find heroin. This is her third offense.
Wat wil je passen? Praat, Siva.
Ja, ze weet ik het papa. Gezien ze mijn papa is
Captain Carl knows that the young woman is just a user. In exchange for a more lenient sentence, she agrees to take the officers to her dealer. Apparently, it's a woman.
Okay, what happened now is the premises that we did now, she had some heroin on her, and now we're just quickly going to follow up some information in terms of where she bought it. She admitted that she bought it earlier today, so we're just going to follow up and see in terms of the dealer that has supplied her that, and see maybe if we get anything further in terms of that.
The young woman has only supplied vague details. The police head to the location in the hopes of finding something. Officers find a baton stun gun, a weapon used by dealers to enforce their law. The officers don't find anything here, but back on the road, they notice something suspicious and search another home. All of a sudden, a man starts running from them. Taking advantage of his knowledge of the area, he's hoping to shake off the officers. But there are many officers and the chase is on. They manage to arrest the man. He's wearing brand new sneakers and a brand new hat. The officers want to know more. The man probably threw away drugs or even a weapon while he was running. The officers need to find the evidence. In the dark and across such a large area, it's hard to find anything.
I put it here right next to his cap. Oh. Put it right next to his cap, and otherwise he must have picked it up again.
No. No, I don't know if they managed. No.
Right here, next to the cap, where his cap was lying.
The man will be taken to Captain Carl. The officers will find out why the young man ran after conducting a body search.
There's also
It's not the dealer they were looking for, but it's one more that the Cape Town police has arrested tonight. In Rio, like in Cape Town, the authorities are making progress. The police are regaining ground. Whether through the peacekeeping units in Rio or the special ops units in Cape Town, every officer is adapted to their terrain, culture, and history. The fight against crime continues.